Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday marketing call. My name is Lee Honish. I am joined, as always, by Fred Solomon. How are you, Fred?
Good morning, Lee. Doing good.
Excellent. As always, go to Home Advocates, type in the information into any search engine that you want, and you will find Home Advocates on line 1 and line 2 for that matter. And from there, you can find out more about the company. Today, we're going to talk about our marketing approach, our direct marketing approach, and why right now is the best time to get started and use our marketing approach. With all of that said, it was originally called, there's a history to this. It was originally called Monster Marketing when I invented it back in 2009/10. Today, I'll actually show a couple of what the original marketing pieces look like because they are actually in the archives and I'm going to talk about it. We're getting ready to close our platinum group permanently. So if you have the opportunity to upgrade or the link that you have says upgrade, then I would recommend clicking on it. You will save an immense amount of money. We're going to a monthly service fee. You will not get the same services that are in the platinum group. They were all designed for this wonderful group of 125 individuals who allowed me to build Home Advocates from scratch. I combined the best of what I did over the last decade, the best of what David Bartels and I did, and David Bartels did, and we have created this brand new company. I probably would change, if I knew then what I know now about branding for this company, I probably would have changed it to don't hire an agent, hire an advocate, which might even be my new catchphrase going forward with the marketing this upcoming weekend. So if you're watching it, that's why it says it. We believe in advocacy. We believe in ethics, and we work with people who've missed payments. And there is a very distinct reason why we do that. And we will talk about that. So I'm going to give you a screen share, screen 1, share. And there we go. I'll stop my video, which will run it a little cleaner. And all of you should be able to see my screen. And so let's get underway. So from the top, we are in a different period of time, right? If you don't know, you need a trigger event to sell a house right now. To get a listing in the current environment, you have to physically have what's called a trigger event. There's nobody suddenly just waking up one day going, hey, I want to sell my house. And it's really simple. Number one is equity, right? Houses right now have equity. Markets are depreciating. Here in Las Vegas, they're already depreciating by 10%. I am fortunate that in most of the markets, the major markets, I have people that I record videos with each and every week. And they're all starting to show some kind of erosion, or what's the clever word these days, housing recession. Second is death. We have talked about that over the last couple of weeks, as well as divorce. Again, the difficulty with death is probate. The problem with divorce is two parties don't get along. And then there's change of life, which is why I live in Vegas. That's a change of life situation. I'm in my new office, in my new studio in Las Vegas because my daughter went to school in Utah, and that basically put me closer to her. In fact, a few hours. I just jump on the bus on Friday, go watch the football game and her doing her thing. And I'm back on Sunday long before football starts. But the one that we focus on, the one that we're going to start focusing on again, is failure to make payments. And I'm going to show a couple of clips here. I'm also going to show Rick's email. I'm going to use Fox today because I have actually received emails. Lee, you just use liberal media sites. There's no such thing. All media, all news is fake, right and left. Okay, I'm going to say it. Nobody here on any of these stations is doing anything that resembles real media. If you got 3 people sitting on a panel, they're just reading a script somebody else wrote. Okay. That's the reality. When I record videos with people, it's basically the same kind of format when I work with them. I'm leading them with my questions. I'm writing it as I go. There is no such thing as media. Nobody is uninfluenced. Nobody, again, if they called what the news really is today, which is, this is our opinion, I'd be okay with it. But they claim that this is news. This isn't Walter Cronkite. This isn't, people trying to bust Watergate. This isn't uncovering deep secrets of the deep state. This is just people giving their opinion. That's why I like this piece. Daniela here is actually quoting someone and a company we know very well, which is Adam Data. Adam Data, if you don't know, is the home of Realty Track. They changed their name to Adam Data because in 2013, they felt that there was no longer a need to sell foreclosure data or pre-foreclosure data to real estate agents. They saw a strong decline between 2013 and 2015. So they rebranded to Adam Data, thinking that for whatever reason, I don't know why they didn't like Realty Track. I don't know why they went to Adam Data. I've had it explained to me. It didn't make sense when it was explained to me as I sat in that meeting. It still doesn't to this day to change your name to Adam Data. So what they basically went through, and this article is only a few days old, we're seeing a lot of East Coast foreclosure activity. Again, activity is up 167%. Okay. What does that tell us? Well, it means that 1 in every 1,500 properties has a notice on it. And that's important to note. They, of course, point out the cities that have higher activity. So if you are in one of them, great, you want to get involved. We know this down in San Diego. LA County won't start until February. But realistically speaking, this is now a discussion again, and this will be a discussion until about mid-November. It always seems to be about mid-October to mid-November that we start talking about missed payments and credit card debt. And then just about a week before Thanksgiving, the news, I should have had the camera on so I could do my air quotes. They will stop talking about it because they want you to go buy stuff for the holidays. So I want to quickly pull this up. Fred, do you have any feedback about foreclosure activity? I know that you just put up on the screen relocation, loss, and retirement. I agree, but that's kind of under change of life, in my opinion. Those all seem like change of life.
If you remember, Lee, last October is when they started allowing the lenders to foreclose. I think it was October 15th, was it? Or was that, no, that's the tax return extension deadline. But it was around October of last year where they started allowing the lenders to start the foreclosure process. Mm-hmm. So you and I predicted in the first quarter that we were going to see heavier foreclosure activity. And obviously that is the case. The difference is, which is the market is, job loss isn't there yet, but
really, yeah, that's inevitable.
But the real reason why people are holding on to their properties and scrounging and scraping and doing whatever they can to keep their properties is because the difference this time versus 2008, 9, and 10 is that people have equity. So people act differently when they have equity because they look at their house as a palace and they think their house is worth a lot more than it really is because that's the way homeowners think. So, and us realtors are so used to dealing with that. So now earning their trust is so important on these appointments because of the fact that these people have equity and instead of walking away and doing a short sale because they're upside down and they wanted to hold on as long as they could and they didn't want to sell. But at the same time, this time they still want to hold on as long as they can and they don't want to sell. But this time they realize they have equity, and the sales pitch is to these people, what do you think is going to happen to home prices? So should you sell now or should you sell after home prices come down? Because you definitely can't make the payment. And if you can't make the payment, then what are you going to do? You're going to have to sell. And then if you're going to sell and you can't make the payment, when should you sell? Before or after prices drop? So that's really the message that needs to get across to the people that are being tagged today. And I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know, but I just want to make that very clear.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to thank Rick for sending this over to me. Ross Hamilton. Now we're getting into I'm going to actually reuse his email. I think it's great. New data out this month shows foreclosures up 187%. We covered that about a week ago. It's about 2 weeks old. This means opportunities to make profit and help out people out of a bad situation are up at least 187%, Fred. Does that math work? I think that works. I like the math on it. The opportunity to help people is up 187%. I'm going to reuse that. Want to make offers on the next round of foreclosures before banks or hedge funds do? Well, that's not actual. I've got to go to this webinar. The Fed is picking on interest rates to stabilize the dollar. They're not, well, that's because, and we covered this last week, and I recommend looking in the archives. That's because real estate is the economy, and because whatever. When that does happen, it may be a very good time to be holding deeds. Okay. Some people are saying right now, and the reason I'm showing you this, I don't have a problem with Ross. I know him. This is going to be happening more and more, right? So people in my position understand very realistic approaches to getting in front of people. We're pretty much all in the same circle. We read everybody reads everybody's emails. Ross is reading my stuff. I'm reading his stuff, and vice versa, and around and around. I bring it up for a very simplistic reason. There is a reason people are telling you that this opportunity is here. It's impossible if you are an investor or a real estate agent to get your hands on a deal right now. You've got to be hip to the economy. You've got to be hip to what's going. Hip is a terrible word. You need to be aware of what's going on in the economy. You need to be aware of what's going on in your city, and you need to be aware of the jobs market. There's a lot of working parts that most agents and investors don't deal with. This is a very unique period it's 2007 again, Fred. I mean, that's what it feels like to me when I look at this stuff.
Before the storm is coming, huh?
Before the storm. And then everybody just adjusts, right? Okay, then it goes the other way, right? Everybody's going to want, if you don't think this is going to happen, and I swear this to everybody, if you don't think that once everybody sees a big dip in their equity, that there isn't going to be a mad rush between refis, equity lines, and selling property, once they see, I would say it would take a good 20% to wake people up, Fred.
So
I think that's when they'd all get very serious.
So that's the reason why you want to get access to your equity now before that happens.
Right.
And you need to tell this to all of your clients. If you think you may need cash, if you are self-employed, if you are the type of person that gets affected when the economy struggles, if your business struggles because of the economy, you need to tell your clients, and you need to email them and tell them you need to have access to cash. The best time to get money is when you do not need it. That's the best time to get it. The worst time to get money is when you need it. And that's what people need to tell their clients.
Oh, when we get closer to the holidays, can you imagine what this is going to look like, Fred?
Oh, well, again,
I would, and again, let's just focus on what Ross said, right? 187% more opportunity to help people, right? Help is a very clever word. And I've said this to all my coaching students. I know I'm recording it, and I completely agree with the words that I'm going to say. The work you do shouldn't be for free. Okay. It is completely okay for people to get paid to do real estate transactions. The only thing that I ask that if you use my method, I had one mission statement, and it was very simple. Just make sure you read the 9 alternatives to foreclosure. I just want everybody who's missed a payment to know the 9 alternatives to foreclosure. After that, if you're an investor, make money. Okay. Legally and ethically, that's all we ask. Legally and ethically, you do it. Whatever deal you make is the deal you make. I don't think agents should cut their commissions at any point, period. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not even a fan of it in my own household, Fred, when I see discounts, right? If you're looking to get your first listing and you have to cut your commission to get that first deal because it gets a sign in a yard, which gets you open houses, which gets you generating a list, which we spent 2 weeks ago spending an entire week on. I completely get that. But once you've established and you have a list of clients and you are working, you want to be positioned before you get to December. People aren't going to have money for Christmas. Sally's writing right now, big tech is starting with the layoffs. Of course they are. Real estate corporations are already doing it. My greater fear is still, the BlackRocks of the world, the equity holding companies selling off their property while the equity in their property is so high. And then this becomes a snowball. So the quicker you get positioned by going and meeting people, no matter what they say, and we're going to talk about it all week. I know what they're telling you. I know the group of people you're working with right now. I've talked to everybody in every market. Everybody's pretty much getting the same thing at the front door. It's an opportunity to build a list, create rapport, create trust, create with the marketing system that we have for you as part of this program. Everything that we have is by design to create a position for you to be in a position to help them as an advocate. So the problem is 95% of all people have the same fear, and that's the fear of being able to provide, right? So when you are working with distressed property people, I don't know what word to use. I realize whatever word I start to use right now is going to become the industry standard, Fred. I know that sounds arrogant on my part, but then again, everybody uses the word mitigator. So truthfully, these are default people. When I say default, people think REO. When I say missed payments, people think short sales. If you say distressed, people think the house is run down. So I'm trying from a logistical standpoint to explain this. Anybody who is 31 days at 5 p.m., 31 days, 5 p.m., they're 30 days late, they're actively in foreclosure. And I actually have people who argue this with me. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Okay. 2 decades in a bank, 31 days at 5 p.m., you're 30 days late, you are actively in foreclosure. Now, it doesn't get serious and it doesn't get to an individual until 91 days at 5 p.m., right? When it starts to go to a different world. It gets different when it's a charge off at 6 months and you actually start the legal activity. So depending on your state, notice of default, notice of sale, list pendants, notice. Every state has different terminology. And here's another favorite of mine that I'm trying to cut down right now. Please don't write me and tell me what your state does or does not do. Please. Generally speaking, the banks operate on the same format. 91 days at 5 p.m. It's escalated. those 3 months mean that they'll go to a different call center where they will be a little more aggressive in the collection activity for those next 3 months to try to get them into probably a fake loan mod of some kind. But really what they're doing is information gathering till they can get to a point where they're basically charging the loan off the books, right? And starting the actual active foreclosure activity. They'll do 6 months. They'll even do a rolling 6 month, but generally speaking right now at about 6 months, they're going to get pretty serious. Most of the new stuff is going to be on a 6 to 9 month. It's going to get really serious. The banks operate on one format for all of the places it does loan. I don't know if that works country to country. Okay. I would imagine they're pretty close. I know Canadian foreclosure laws are pretty similar to ours. But I would say anybody coming up that's at least 6 months is in a serious position right now. So at least notice of default. I know a lot of people want 91-day delinquencies to start tagging and working with. My opinion, the 6 month is probably where you want to be. And I'm not saying that they're easy conversions by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody in this market right now is going to be a difficult conversion. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. These are just people who have to sell, not want to sell. They need to sell their house to get that equity before that changes. And going into the holidays, trust me, this fear of not being able to provide right around the holidays, starting literally in about 30 days till the end of the year, will be very important. This is my reason. It moved to college. Good Lord, Fred. It should be the
Time
same.
to grow
for-
up.
There's a shelf that's on the other side of the room that I look at, which is all the stuff I've collected. This is the seriousness of the situation right here. This is my daughter, Mackenzie. Many of you have watched her grow up. This is my it. Fred's got an it. He takes his to football games. Mine is at the football game. There's a big difference of going to a football game, Fred, and being at a football game.
Yeah, both are cool.
Both are cool. The experience is totally different. I sit by myself while I watch her on the field with the band. There she is. She's off. She's gone. This is happening right now. People with families. So there's real fear involved on this failure. So please go out and use Monster Marketing. Now, almost 13 years ago, I invented something called Monster Marketing, wrote a book, had a program. The program's been rewritten, reused by so many different people along the way. I'm proud of it. It worked. In fact, I didn't want to call it Monster Marketing for this program. I wanted to call it Advocate Marketing, but people were confused. It's the same product. I just added more automation to the system. The book itself was a bestseller. I'm not a big fan of the book. It reads like stereo instructions. It's not very fun to read. I think somebody made a comment. Did Lee just say that his book is crappy, but at least he wrote it? Yes, that's how I actually feel about my own book. It's crappy and it's written badly. And if I had to do it again, I probably would have brought in a nice writer. It got me featured along the way over the past decades. And these 3 books helped me really change the foundation. I recommend to all of you who are students, these are the 3 books. Read them, live them, learn them, love them. The first is the 4 Agreements, which is nearly impossible. Everyone in this group should know the name Seth Godin, a man I'd like to call mentor and friend. He is by far the most influential factor in the way I do my marketing, which is all permission-based. And of course, the secret, if you're not positive, hang around with positive people, find positive in your life. If you don't, bad things will happen. You will not have positive things happen. I've said this for almost 10 straight years. There is only one person I know of who has not made my marketing work. And she is a very good friend of mine. And every time I see her, she tells me that it doesn't work for her. And I go, well, I can guarantee one thing. It's not going to work for you. I am a firm believer in positive mindset, creating outcomes for yourself and achieving those outcomes. Everything I have is based on me putting my mind and my will towards that project. when you sign up for the Platinum group, you will guys all know this. There are 3 categories: the hub, the home advocates community, and the marketing system itself explained. I'm going to read. I don't know if you guys really need the first hub going forward as I do the redesign for the stuff I'm releasing next. They're not getting none of this. Everything I'm about to show you is completely being rewritten for the group coming in. But for those of you that are on the call, I want to make this call about you and the products that you have. I don't know if I want to shoot new videos. They just constantly have to be updated because of the market conditions and how to use the product. It was originally designed to take the workload off the 1 hour one-on-one when you start. And I don't know how I feel about it. I might just get rid of it and put all my effort into the hub and make some dramatic changes in there. Same thing with the home advocates community. It was a great idea until these calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday became the community. And I've seen us achieve more on these 3 calls from a networking standpoint. There's a reason why Fred's here. I don't have to pay Fred for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because this is the greatest networking group ever for 3 straight days, Fred.
You know, I don't know if people give out the type of information that we do. There, you know, every time I see these things on fill out this form on Facebook, you know, and if I see a good one and I think that it has some merit, I'll, you know, once in a while I'll text you something.
They don't.
But once in a while I'll text it to you and I'll just say, hey, you know, play around with this one because this one looks a little bit different than the others, right? And it's always good to see what other people are doing. And, you know, it's just good to see it. It doesn't mean it's going to work. It's just good to check it out. All of the stuff that I talk about works. It is proven. It works. Did I say that it works? Yeah, it works. And the reason why I do it is because it works. And I know that it works.
Yeah.
I have people that, you know, there's some more things that I'm going to be doing that I'm going to be implementing that are working. But right now, Ivan, Mark Flores, who's part of the Monster Group or the old group.
The old group.
He's doing a radio show in Spanish and he's killing it. He's killing it on Spanish radio. I even talked to Antonio about it a little bit, and I'm not a pushy guy, so I'm not going to ever say, oh, you should consider doing this. But I think Antonio is another guy that.
Oh, yeah. And he's implemented all the strategies. He's using his bomb. He's using his videos. He's doing red videos with me. That funnel will produce. That will produce.
So what the deal is today that I want people to understand, yes, you got to do whatever you can to make your phone ring. And if you don't have a big database of clients like myself or people that have been around for a while that haven't put a database together, you got to start off with your database. However, for new people, I think the Facebook groups.
Yep.
And I think going and knocking on the doors for people that are behind in their payments with a fresh attitude, you know, not with 30 years built up of whatever preconception people with 30 years of knowledge have, you know, whatever it is that people have, I think the monster marketing is a great way to start off in this business.
It's
Because-
list building 101. It literally is list building 101 through direct marketing. It is, and it's
have to do
permission
something.
based. It's permission. They're in control. I cannot stress how important that is. There's a huge difference. I used to do slides that would go into explaining that 0.5% to 1%. I know Fred's done it. I've done it. Door knocking, cold calling, and mailers, which is being done in such abundance right now. Like that is just what people are doing because most people came into the market in the last couple of years. The group that actually understands how real estate works, much like the people in this group, that's a small percentage. So technology escapes people above a certain age, which might also happen to coincide with the average age of people who are realtors. And the people who've only been in this business for 3 years have no idea what to do in the current market. They've never seen anything like this. I would even argue the past 5 years, they've never seen anything like this. The average length of time, and this is to go back to the networking point, most everybody in this group's been in at least 15 years. We have some brand new people, and I'm not going to out any of our brand new people, but they've partnered up in this group with people that have been in the business for a couple of decades and use these situations. When you have people like Michelle Ali, who is still negotiating short sales in Florida. Yeah, I said that out loud. Most everybody in this group has decades of knowledge on how to deal with this market. You have Dr. Terrell Miller, who actually teaches real estate in this group. There's no question why that happens. So yeah, while I wanted a home advocates community, these calls turned into the home advocates community, and people launched their questions pretty insanely here. I've seen every question thrown up on the screen, and we answer them in real time. We always take time after these calls to answer them. And the last, of course, is the hub. I think this is what I'm going to build up for the Platinum group a little bit more. I'm going to spend more time on it. You guys already know, we used to call it the 12-step program. It's back to being called the Monster program. We have a template for the face-to-face method. We talked about this last week based on me going out after a concert without a cell phone. I got 6 leads without a cell phone, without a business card. I got 6 leads just by knowing what to say and by literally telling someone, hey, open up your phone, type in home advocates. That's all covered. Of course, the 3 coaching calls per week. We still do have investors. We have quite a few. And I'm going to start working with the Las Vegas RIA out here. So that's getting beefed up as well. Again, if you have any deal and you're an investor in this group, let me know. I will help you work out a deal. Between Fred and I guarantee we can figure out if you really want to do an investment deal. And we talk about these as well. There's a new call center, Ray. We'll talk about that. There's still the book and audio video section, which was designed for someone who was in the hospital. So the book and audio section was designed because we had a couple of people who were in the hospital and they were like, do you have any recommendations? So I just downloaded stuff and I put it in there. They are some of my favorite things, including, I think, recommended watching stuff in there as well. And then the archives, and then all the trainings that never went online are there as well. It's a huge archive selection. So within the hub, you have the face-to-face method. I assume everybody's starting from zero. There are only a few people out right now, as far as I know, tagging. We just sent a bunch of leads out in the last 24 hours. The rest of them should be today. You have to know your value. We are literally building that value for you. Referrals are the key, and permission-based marketing is the key. You got to create your list and you got to learn to talk it up, right? You can either do it by packaging. Lately, I say it all the time. I used to very much buy into the Joel Bauer method of walking around in the tie and the jacket and going out into public when I'm actually looking for leads. Truth be told, put me in a black t-shirt, even with my daughter, I've gotten very comfortable in my skin being able to go out there. We created a template for you to use with a testimonial that was made to the company. Everybody who is a member of this group can use this business card. You can put your own company as well as your real estate information. It's as simple as that. And I always use the same method, which is use the 800 number or your office 800 number, but always handwrite in your cell phone number to make it personal, right? I don't do this for everybody, but if you know someone who's missed a payment or your friend needs to really talk to someone, here's my cell phone number. Just have them text me and I'll be happy to talk to them. I now use a tap card, which I think is even better than that. We've talked about it. So the strongest persuasion that I've used, and I used it a week ago, was the infamous Google. And this will work on any browser, any search engine. All you have to do is type in 2 words, home advocates. And I actually used an incognito screen so you could see this. That's why it's black at the top. So it wasn't influenced at all. And as you can see, we're line 1, but let's talk about this in real time, shall we? You just have to type in home advocates. I don't care. Let's use Yahoo. I haven't used Yahoo in forever. Nobody uses Yahoo, but who knows? Let's see what Home Advocate says. Oh, people are buying my search now, Fred. Look at Home Advisors buying my search pattern. That's brand new. They're buying that on Yahoo. That's advertised. That's an advertised slot. That's what that line means. That means people are now using Home Advocates as a search term. But guess what? We're still line number 1 for Home Advocates. All you have to do is tell somebody to type in Home Advocates. Everybody who is registered in this program, in the Platinum group, is listed on page 1. That is one of the greatest features. There you are, right there on the front page. You guys are all listed here. We update it when we get new people in. If you don't see your name on there, please let me know, or you didn't ever fill out the link. But it's designed for exactly what it appears to be. None of you, 100% none of you, from investors to real estate agents. I don't know anybody else who's giving you Google page 1. There is no Keller Williams website. There's no EXP website. There's no Century 21 website. There's no CDPE website where you're going to wind up on the very front page listed as an advocate. So here's the thing. This isn't going to change. So everybody who's in the Platinum group, it's going to stay just like this. And when you scroll to the bottom for the monthly people, there will be a button, click here for more names, or click here for more advocates. That's where they'll be listed. You guys who helped build this company and teach me what I've learned, who've taught me what I've learned. Why does that sound wrong, Fred? You have taught me very much about the behaviors of the market. And I think the very least I can do is continue to give you guys page 1 unobstructed the way it is. I might change some of the front page videos, but I think the 3 videos that we have right now are perfect. And I think it's one of the best features. It would cost literally, not figuratively, the cheapest I've ever seen somebody claim to give you SEO wise, page 1 for any search term. And it would take 3 to 6 months. You're looking to spend $300 to $500 per month, minimum $3,000 over a 6-month period to get a legit page 1 right now. It is that hard to get page 1. I had this conversation with Lori the other day. She goes, thank you, Jane. We have educated you and you in turn have educated us. I want to make this really clear. It's a fluke that we're on page 1. I get approached by people who constantly tell me that Google isn't seeing me as line 1, right? Like we're not actual SEO'd. And I have used the exact same format on a couple of my personal sites. Nothing ran as fast as this. So for those of you who have religious or spiritual aspects, this company was designed to do what it's doing. And for whatever reason, the internet gods, or whatever God you, I literally mean this truthfully. There is no reason Home Advocate should be on page 1 of Google. I can find no viable reason. I've confirmed it with a couple of sources. Like there is no reason Yahoo, Google, any of the browser, like literally from DuckDuckGo. Okay. There is no reason we should be on page 1 unless if you are a spiritually based person. This is the mission. The mission is to go help literally 1 million homeowners. That's what our original mission statement was. That's what our goal is going to be, since I still suspect we're talking about 3 million people who've missed payments, who are missing out on equity, period. If you just go with 31-day delinquencies, you are well into that figure, okay? I wanna make sure that we're able to help them. What else do I have? Resume. There we go. And of course, what we used to call the 12-step program. It's 12 steps to getting face-to-face guaranteed. This is our program. Number 1, you guys all know it, send an email. Lori will pull data. If it doesn't, please don't wait weeks and weeks. If you don't get it, we have, 125 people in the Platinum group. So just let me know, send me an email directly. Much like you guys getting me to do stuff, you tell Lori to tell me to do stuff, or some of you have even told Fred. Works both ways. Everybody will double check with me. I get caught up in shooting videos with people all day. The next is let us know the city you want to be in. Let us know that you're going out so I can keep track of it. I know that Terrell's been out with Myra. I don't see the results. That's all done through Lori. She's the one who hands it out. And Tina just wrote she has an appointment this afternoon. So that's cool. You just order the Avery labels, as we pointed out. You download the pre-printed call center label. And yes, Ray, we have a new call center. So you want to download the new marketing piece itself. I'll show it in just a second. That's what it looks like. We actually have a call center already in place. They will tell them that Home Advocates is approaching them, not you, not Ray, not Jane, not Tina, right? Home Advocates is approaching them. Technically, no, nobody is, Christy. You'd be fine. That's a very good area to do it in. I would be completely into that for sure. So there you go. And by the way, I'm going to do a bonus today. So there's the offer if you guys want to sign up. I'm not going to talk about the off. I know there are a couple of people that haven't upgraded. I'm going to throw in a huge bonus because I haven't actually done a real sales pitch in a while, Fred. So I'm going to do a pretty good bonus today. So, and it's only going to be for a couple of people because I don't have the time for it. But hint, hint, it would mean you get to shoot a couple of videos with me as well. It's a pretty good bonus, Fred. Pretty good bonus.
I think this girl, Christy, I don't know her, but she was asking around the downtown LA area.
Yeah, it's a good area.
She wants someone to come along with her. I think that's what she's like. Maybe she doesn't have the knowledge that is needed.
Am I unknowledgeable? Is Christy already a member? Hold on. Forgive me. No, Christy's not a member. So number 1, and Terrell will go with you. Myra will go with you.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? There's a whole group team. If you can get Team Miller to go with you, you sign up, you get Team Miller to go with you. Dr. Terrell Miller, I might add. I would do from there. Okay, here's how the groups work. I know where everybody is. Nobody is still doing that LA corridor, which is kind of upsetting me. I don't know why East LA out to downtown is not being hit as hard as it could be. In fact, nobody's tagging that area right now. I've got Antonio in the South Bay. I've got a couple of people out in the Valley. I've got someone all the way up in Santa Clarita. This isn't the old days. In the old days, we had multiple people in multiple places. It didn't ever change our percentages, but I was very selective with this group, especially with handing out leads. So Christy, use that link, sign up. We will definitely get somebody to go with you. And it's just as simple as I pointed out. Just send us an email. I'm going to talk to you, Christy, because I'm assuming you're signing up as we speak. So you're going to send an email to Lori and she'll get you a list. You're going to order these Avery labels. You can go down the street to Office Depot, but they appear to be more expensive. I would buy the off-brand ones on Amazon. Amazon makes this label and it's way cheaper than Avery's. So they have a knockoff that's much cheaper. We normally just print out an entire box of them and get them over with. I just hand my box over and a template and hand it to them. Yeah, I agree, Sally. They work just fine. So I just walk in with the big box at the once every couple of months, hand my box to the guy. I hand him my USB with the PDF version of this, which has already got the pre-printed number. And then they print them all out for me real quick on the nice machines. And then I don't get caught up, and it's a pain in the butt to use the automated service. I don't like the other way. I can print them out at home. It's just quicker. Does that mean I'm lazy, Fred, or am I being efficient? I want to say that I'm being efficient, but it sounds like I'm lazy.
It's both.
All right. Well, again, it's work smarter, not harder. But the call center is already on there. They have a script. Then you pick out 12 properties. Don't get crazy, Christy. You're only going to go put out 12 marketing pieces. All right. Use Root Excel. We've talked about it a million times on here, and there's videos, and you get a one-on-one. We'll explain how to do it. It's not hard. Prepare the marketing pieces, put them in order. You're going to drive to each property. You're going to peel off one. You're going to have their name and their tracking number. Your tracking number, well, I can tell you what the first two letters of Terrell Miller's tracking number is. It's TM. Somebody asked me what happens when you have people who have the same initials. I don't have same initials in the same market. So it's pretty easy for me to go, that's Jane, that's Terrell, that's Sally, that's Tina. It's where it does actually occur, it doesn't occur. What throws us off is when we get somebody with weird area codes. And the really big deal, I cannot stress this even for everybody on, please put your initials on the tracking number. Please, 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 please. I will reassign good leads if you don't put. Now, normally, because Lori's doing it, she knows who she sent leads to. She generally gets them to the right place, but she will ask me maybe once every couple of weeks, what do you want to do with this? And here's a fun tip. Eric Borgia got 2 leads, 2 phone numbers out of the blue. There you go. Then you go to house 1, just follow your Root Excel. We're a big believer in Root Excel. Rick is putting it over big time. Root Excel is awesome. And what I normally do is I number them on my phone because I have an Apple phone. The iPhone, you can click on the address. So I know what the next house is. I've got them on my email. So I just click them. It auto populates my iPhone and they're in driving order. Get out of your car, go walk over to the mailbox. You're not going to knock on the door. You're not going to engage them. So this should knock down a little bit of your fear, Christy. Preferably the outside of the mailbox, the garage door, or the front door. That's it. You're not engaging people. You're not doing anything. Keep it simple. We have got videos of me being a complete insane lunatic on the page right now of me just going crazy, throwing up tags up in Carlsbad, which I didn't put any faith into it. And I think we ultimately only got up about 10 out of the 12, and I still got my 20%. I got 2 calls for appointments. Don't do 100 houses. This is a work smarter, not harder. Do 12 today, maybe. So you want to do them on Monday and Wednesday, because the appointments are always set on Tuesdays and Thursdays after 6 o'clock. Now, for those of you who think that they should be set whenever the homeowner wants you to set an appointment with them based on the homeowner schedule, that's incorrect, right? The least I can do is keep it between Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it's after 5 or after 6 or whatever it is. That way, your life isn't just completely thrown up in the air for a lead. I still have, I think, some kind of emotional trigger with my dad and his whole, there's no such thing. My dad was never at any events for me as a child. He was always doing something in regards to real estate or banking or whatever. I don't think that's right, especially having a daughter of my own. And even if it's something as simple as, I'm not giving up my manicure pedicure appointment for a homeowner. And I know that sounds arrogant. You shouldn't put your life on hold for people who haven't made payments. You're giving them a solution. It also, this is the truth. You're actually creating position. There's a psychological thing to creating and scheduling times for your schedule. So that schedule is Tuesdays and Thursdays after 5. And you will get an email. Then go home. Don't knock on the door. Don't worry about it. And once you get an appointment, we give you the package to take with you. And what you're looking at, this is the old company. I haven't put the new one up, but it's basically the same thing. You're going to get the phone number. You're going to get the tracking number. Here's a Sally Ellis one. How do I know? It says SE. It's not that hard. FNZ. Tracking number is just FNZ. But I don't know who FNZ is. I'd have to look that up. CB. You think I'd be able to do these off the top of my head, right? Geez. I only knew one so far. I don't know CB. They did very well. Stephen Rue. This is Stephen Rue. SR is Stephen Rue, who is 83 years old and made this work. SC 209. Whoever SC is, if you're on the call, don't yell at me. I'm sorry. RF. See how they work? I get a tracking number. They get a phone number. They're told to go on the appointment. Tuesday, it's after 3 o'clock. Tuesdays and Thursdays after 3 o'clock. Just like that. That's how it works. We also have coaching calls 3 days a week. Some are private, some are public. We also, every last Thursday of the month now is our speaker day. We just did a mastermind that was 3 hours last month. This Thursday, I got to confirm with Fred, which is next Thursday, Fred. Need to find out about your friend for speaking engagement.
Oh yeah, I'll talk to Dan.
Cool. We're going to bring in a series of speakers. I'm going to work in the Steve Hawks of the world. I'm going to work in Kyle Wessel. Probably Pete Sanchez as well would be another good one. But I'm just trying to see if Lori showed up. I know that she had an appointment this morning. I want to make sure.
Next Thursday, right?
There she is. Sorry, Lori. I just thought about it right now. I just thought you were still at your appointment. Yeah, next Thursday would be the last one. And that'll be private for the group. I've got those all contained. They're all being uploaded to private. They're all put on private pages for you guys to review. Those aren't public. Those are strictly for coaching students. So the timeline's pretty straightforward. Once you go and meet with them, you follow your script. Hi, my name's Lee. Are you aware you were actively in foreclosure? Hand them the package that we gave you. I'm a homeowner advocate. I'm here to present you your alternatives to foreclosure. I know this sounds very cut and dry. We're going to talk about it more on Thursday when it comes to this. And we'll go through the 9 alternatives again this week. This is all you're there to do on appointment number 1, right? Do nothing, pay off refinance, reinstate, partial claim. By the way, those 3 are out of the way immediately because they don't have any money. Deed in lieu of foreclosure, which is just dumb, especially if they have equity. Anybody who does a deed in lieu right now that has equity, this will actually, I almost want to track this, Fred, to just, this is the one that's going to make me the craziest. This
Oh
and
my-
do nothing would make me crazy if somebody had equity.
Yeah, well, that is someone who did a spin, voodoo, what did they call it? Voodoo, what was it? It was a Ronald Reagan term.
Voodoo economics.
yeah,
I only
voodoo
know that because I know that because of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. But that's.
Does anybody
that was-
know blank OO economics? Anyone? Anyone? By a former senator who was an actor at the time. That's funny. Bankruptcy, we'll talk about it this week. Loan mods, we'll talk about it. They're trying to appear. Best for Lori is lori.neville@gmail.com. She's also got homeadvocate7@gmail.com. For a Florida referral, look at you. Lori will be all over that. If Lori is paying attention, she should be all over it at this moment, T. Miller. The 9 alternative forbearance. We all know how well that went. And last is actual sale of the property. We're going to talk about all these scripts and all the conversions probably later on in the week on Thursday and catch right back up here. And then how to ask the big question, rinse, repeat kind of thing. So that's what I wanted to cover today. That is just one of the many features that we have within the program. Let me swap this out. There you go. So on top of that, on top of our front page of Google, on top of 3 coaching calls, on top of a 1-hour one-on-one coaching call, you can also send it to me, T, as well. Lee Honish at Yahoo, I'll take care of it. We do have investors. I will help investors structure a deal. We actually have archives. We actually have all of our trainings. It's literally a decade and change of doing this. White label books. Everybody's into that right now. So how do you join? You invest a one-time fee. It's just an upgrade fee period. If you're watching this on a replay, there's a link down below. You're on my list. You're an upgrade. Please upgrade. Starting next week, it will be monthly. And I'm going to show you roughly what it looks like because there are people who are still in that program. It will look a lot more like the basic monster program, which is right here. So you guys all know that once you sign up, you go to your library and you get those 3 modules, right? Well, since I'm special, I have every module, and what the program is going to look like starting next week is going to look just like the basic monster program. It's going to have a couple more things and a couple of training videos. But it's just gonna really look like this. It's you'll watch a video, you do the steps, the calls, how to set up your call center. You got to set up your own call center. You got to pull your own lead. You got to print out and put your phone number on your marketing pieces. And then the rest is pretty much the same since you'll have your own call center. But this, as compared to, this thing is insane. The hub itself is just so deep. I put so much time and effort. I've got to clean it up a little bit. I never expected the group to be nearly as big as it was. To believe that we've come, I want to show this because I don't think I've ever shown it on one of these. All right, so I got to buy more storage. My God, Fred. How have I used 15 gigabytes for this program already? We actually have packages for probate as well as expired. There's a lot of old packages in here that we've worked with. But what I love, let's see if it's still here. I don't think I've taken it out. Not this one. Just so you guys can see how far we've come for those that don't know. Here is probably version 2, this one right here in the center that you see multiples of. This is probably version 3. Some of you know the monster like this. It looks very much like the UPS, but this monstrosity right here, this big giant piece, marketing piece number 6 on the middle of the screen, that's the original monster. You printed it out on 8.5 by 11 and you would tape it to their front door. And it worked too. Then I got really slick. And if you look over here, it's 6_1, right? These little, there's where it came from, which was a generic call label. And then I kind of gussied it up. People actually ask me, do you think people will scan it? No, I don't think people will scan it. To go all the way from there, right, to pretty much this version to where we are today, it's night and day how much better the program is from those. So you just invest a one-time monthly fee. That's it. No additional fees, no nothing. You get the automated call center, you get the leads, you get page 1 of Google, you get a 1-hour one-on-one, you get all of that. Oh, sorry. And it's all upgrade. And it's guaranteed 100%. If you don't get face-to-face, you get your money back, or Zoom to Zoom. Yes, there's still COVID restrictions. There are people who don't want to meet with people. That's a very, very, very real thing still here to this day. For the first 5 upgrades, because I know this will go out on an email later on, and we're going to answer questions here right now, as we always do after the call. First 5 people who click the upgrade, I'll shoot a couple of videos for you and do some red marketing for you if you sign up today. Simple as that. And that number will progressively go down this week until there are none. So if you don't take advantage of it and you don't get the videos, that means you signed up too late. Sorry. So please take advantage of the link. Please take action to change what you're doing and go out and help some people.